Welcome everyone on our Facebook page. We have a special exclusive interview, as we've been telling you through the week, with Cobden coach and three-time Maskell medalist Levi Dare. If you've got any questions throughout today's exclusive interview, feel free to post them on our Facebook page and we'll ask him live in the studio. Otherwise, we'll get right to it. Alright Levi, start by telling us about your junior football career and we'll go through in order of your background. So you started at Elby?
No, I started at Port Melbourne Colts,
Yep.
under 12s, under 14s there, and then played some junior footy with Elby from under 14s, under 17s, and some senior footy at Elby when I was 15. Played in the 2005 senior grand final loss with Elby, lost to Forest. Then I went to Colac for some junior footy. I was in the Falcons program and under 18 level, and then from there went to Port Melbourne in the VFL.
Yeah, and you played 2 games and then you sort of decided not to play because of it was travelling and everything like that, Milk prices, was it? Or?
Yeah, well, it was pretty tough. I was still travelling to Melbourne from the farm 3 times a week, and then there was, it got a bit tough in the middle of the drought, 2009. It just got too much, and I couldn't make that commitment to play VFL footy in the second year I was at Port Melbourne.
Yeah, and in that first 2008, which was your first year, do you remember what kind of hairstyle you were rocking back then?
Yeah, I had a mullet at some stage there. Gary Ayres was the coach, which he had a very nice mullet in his playing days. So I did have a nice mullet happening at one stage.
And then obviously after Port Melbourne you came down, played a bit of footy with Cobden, and then that was to do with qualification for finals at that stage, wasn't it? That you couldn't quite qualify for Colac, but you could for Cobden?
Well I wasn't sure at that stage that I was coming back for the rest of the year to Cobden, and Colac was my feeder club for the VFL at that stage, and in the GFL back then, I'm not sure if it's the same now, but you had to play 7 games to qualify, and it looked like I was only going to be able to play 1 or 2. I got onto Cobden and enjoyed it that much. I ended up playing the rest of the season there.
Yep, you ended up playing 2009 and then continued for a few years.
The
the next year was pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, played at 2010 with Cobden. Played the whole season there that year.
And how did you end up going in the end of the year?
Not bad. I did win. I know you're alluding to. I won my first Maskell Medal. I was only 20 years old then. So it was good. Had a good year. We made finals. I can't remember if we won a final or not. But we had a pretty consistent year that year. I had a good year personally. So.
And then 2011, that was the year you only managed the one game.
I played VFL for North Ballarat in 2011, and we just had a bye 1 week, and I played that 1 game for Cobden.
And how did you find that, playing VFL again?
Yeah, well, North Ballarat was a little bit closer. After I won the Maskell in 2010, Jared Fitzgerald rang me up and was keen to get me to go down there, up there, and have another crack at it. It was good. Played some senior VFL footy there. Played on some good opponents. Played on Hamish McIntosh, Tom Campbell, who's at Bulldogs at the minute. Tom Belchain, Essendon. I got to play Will Minson as well, who's probably the best ruckman I've played on. I got some good experience there against guys that had played at the highest level.
And then after that, 2012, back to Cobden, and that was another good year. Yeah,
I was gonna play VFL again, but same sort of thing. It was just the commitment to play VFL and be a dairy farmer as I was at the time was just it gets tough, and so I ended up playing the season at Cobden. We had a really good year, sort of came from nowhere.
And you made the grand final.
Made the grand final. had a great year. My brother Joe came back from Carlton that year, and it was probably the best year of enjoyment wise of football and success, and it's probably the year I'm most proud of that we've had.
And that was such an even year across the board. Like, I mean, obviously in the second Maskell for you, but there were the four that drew that year. So that's a bit odd. I mean, you don't hear that too often. What were you thinking on the night? Like, I guess coming up to the final countdown.
I thought Joe was clear favourite. He'd had a great year. He didn't poll too well early. Same as I don't think I polled until after round 7 or something like that. We got overlooked in the first part of the year, but Joe had a very, very good year, and I still think he was the standout that year. But we tied with Sam Chapman from Camperdown and Timmy Hunt from Warrnambool, so it was still a great honour to share with those guys for that year.
Yeah, and then from there, I guess 2013 was a new year again. You played with Cobden still, did you? And then that's the year after you went back to Colac.
In 2013 I broke my wrist, and I didn't play too many games, 8 or 9 I think, and had a bit of a disrupted year in 2013, which I think we finished second on the ladder that year for Cobden, but we went out in straight sets, which was disappointing. We had a lot better side than we had the year before. We made the grand final, but when it come to finals, we faltered a bit. So it was a disappointing way to go out, but went to Colac the following year.
Yeah, and we'll just interrupt to ask one question from our viewers, from Sam Gladman. Do you have any advice for young players wanting to make their mark on the game?
Yeah, absolutely. As a young player, I think, just knowing from my personal experience, I probably didn't put in hard work early. If I wanted to, I just sort of let it come and just played on natural ability, and I never really worked hard away from football training or Saturday's game. I've never put in those extra time, so any extra time you can put into making yourself better is definitely the advice I would give those young fellas that do want to take their game to the next level and test themselves. Make sure you don't want to leave anything to question, and you don't want to all the what ifs and that. But I've got plenty of myself. If I had done this, if I had done that. What I could have done, but I think that don't sort of leave no stone unturned. Do all that extra work, seek advice from people that have done great things in football and played high level football, and I'm sure they can tell you what they did and what works.
Yeah, and back onto the career, you went back to Colac then and played a couple of seasons there. You won a flag. And you won one with your brother then, didn't you?
Me and Joey, we went across to Cobden in 2014, where Paul Lynch was coaching, and we knew they were putting a good side together, and we played our junior footy there and had a lot of mates there, a lot of guys we'd played football with as juniors and senior level at Colac before, and we knew that there was a chance for success there, and we wanted to share it with those guys. So we went across there and had a good year. Obviously, as a team, we won the flag, which was great. Great for the club and great for the town in Colac. Obviously, the first flag in the GFL. So
it's the strongest country league, isn't it?
GFL's ranked number 1 as far as country football goes. It's a very, very strong standard of football. So to be it was a very strong year as far as talent goes. Obviously, there wasn't the salary cap and the point system that's in now, which evens it out. There was some great sides in there. So to win it in that year in a strong competition was a great achievement.
Yeah, and then obviously you came back. You did the knee, and then you've come back to Cobden since. So
I did my knee in the pre-season for the following season, so I didn't play at all in 2015, which was disappointing for me. I've had a lot of injuries, but I've never missed a full season before. So had a year out of the game, which was different. It was different, that's for sure. But it allowed me to work on some personal goals outside of football. But yeah, no, it's definitely good to be back playing.
Yeah, and then the choice to come back to Cobden, what was it, I guess, that was the determining factor in the end?
It was never the plan, actually. I was going to, obviously, I'd signed on to play another year at Colac, 2015. I didn't get to do that, so I did really want to play another year there because the football is very good standard, and you know, I still believe in testing yourself at the highest sort of level possible if you can. But yeah, my knee wasn't feeling great around Christmas time. I was still struggling. I couldn't run much. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to play any games. And just the commitment to play that high level and the travel and everything, to obviously being in Camperdown, and you know, they play Lara and stuff in Geelong. Every second week was going to be a fair bit of an ask for me, I thought at that stage, and obviously I had the young family as well, so to make that commitment was just going to be too much. So yeah, I settled for Cobden.
Yeah. And it's got quite a young squad that have come the under-18s through. They won the under-18s flag even with a number of those under-18s playing at senior level. So is that, I guess, a credit to the junior development at the club?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think they've been strong over the last few years at Cobden, right through from under-16s, under-18s and under-14s. They've played in flags, and they've come through as a group together with some great success at junior level. And you're right, they've won the last two back-to-back flags, and I think we had eight that could have played in that flag that didn't, that had been playing seniors. So, you know, it's a great effort for those guys to do that without those players that were still eligible.
Yeah, alright. We've got a question here from Brad Rees. Who is the best player you've ever played with?
Played with? Best player I've ever played with. That's a tough question. I'd say probably Toby Pimmel at Port Melbourne. He's very good, very tough midfielder. I think he's one that stands out. Miles Sewell at North Ballarat was also a great player, a Liston medalist. And then obviously I rate Joe, my brother Joe, as the best player I've played with at country football level.
So in saying that, from all your brothers, how do you rank them in terms of 1 to 4? Just out of interest.
1 to 4.
Yeah.
1 being the best.
Yeah. Well.
I start well. Well, obviously Joe's played the VFL footy and been on an AFL list for 2 seasons with Carlton, so I think there's no question he'll be number 1. The boys, they're not going to agree with this at all. Then I think Lincoln has the most potential. Lincoln's got fantastic potential. He's only 22, and he's 6'5", moves really well. If he puts in the work, he could be anything. But so he's probably going to have to go second, and then which leaves Dom and Ruben. So I'm going to have to say, I'm going to have to say Dom's young, and that he's only 19, and he's just coming up. But obviously he's kicked 7 goals, I think, on a few occasions at Hampton senior level. So he's going to have to go third. And then Ruben, who played finals with us in 2012 for Cobden. So he's no slouch at football either. But he'll have to be fourth.
Right. So I guess season ahead, how are you feeling confidence-wise for the team?
Yeah, very confident. I think, like you mentioned before, we've got a great junior program in place, and those guys are coming through. And there's a lot of those guys that have been playing seniors the last couple of years. And I think there's a lot of the guys there that are ready to take their game to the next level. And that's sort of my job now to take over. I think Wayne Robinson and Paul Foster have done a great job over the last 2 seasons of blooding that youth through the seniors, and now it's my job to come in and use what I've learnt from that age and take them to that next level and bring the game along.
Yeah, and there's one obviously from Cobden that's a draft chance this year, in Sean Darcy. Have you seen much of him? Obviously he's been at Geelong, but during his junior years, did you see much of him?
Yeah, I definitely did. And I trained, did a few things of training with him from time to time. Obviously very tall, young fella, but he's still got a lot of development to do. I think he's definitely worth a chance at AFL if he can continue to develop his game. Because he could be a really good player.
And the other one you might have played against earlier in the year, Cedric Cox. How have you how did you find playing on a team against him?
Yeah, I did play on him at the night game at Cobden, round 3. He looked alright out on the wing. That's all I've seen of him, so I can't say too much. But he looked like he had some tricks.
Fair enough. And I guess looking ahead, just as a general thing, who's your tip next season for the Maskell Medal? Do you think?
Next season? I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think that Darcy Graham is starting to play some really good football. He's coming through there at Warrnambool. I think he won the MVP this year. So I'm sure he'll be right up there. I think is that next guy will come in and be the number one sort of midfielder in the competition. So I think he's going to be hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. And I guess which of these do you think is more likely to happen? You win your 4th Maskell, or Cobden win the flag?
I think Cobden's definitely a more chance to win the flag.
Safer bet, yeah.
Definitely. No, I think we're a good chance to win the flag. I'm not I've got a lot more focus now around the team, and I'm not too fussed as long as we're winning games of football. I think that's what I'll be judged on. So, that's my main.
And who do you sort of see as the biggest challenges next season? The usual ones?
Yeah, I think obviously those top sides that are always strong are still going to be strong. Croyd obviously 3 in a row now. 2, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Yeah, I think they're still going to be strong. They're all that mature age. A lot of them. I think they'll be right up there. North will be keen to go again after losing the grand final, and they've been pushing the last few seasons. So I'm sure they'll be right up there. And I hear South Warrnambool. And I think Port Fairy is probably going to be tough to beat with the recruits they've got in South Warrnambool, also recruiting well. So I think it'll be very even next year. So it'll be very tough for anyone to get in there. And I think if you make finals, you definitely have a chance to beat anyone.
Alright, and last question, for the AFL, who's your chip for the flag next year?
I think West Coast. I think they probably folded a little bit. They had a really good run at the end of the season, just gone, and they sort of took a dive in finals, but I think they've got some really quality players there, and I think Annie Mitchell as well. I think I like their list a lot. I think they're going to be really hard to beat.
Yeah, nice. Alright, well thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed today's interview. Thanks.
No worries, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.